The French Revolution took place between 1787 and 1789. There were three estates in France at the beginning of the Revolution. The first estate was the Roman Catholic clergy, the second estate was the nobility. The third estate was the peasants, who made up about 97% of the population in France. The first and second estate seized the money to influence the government to benefit the noble estates. This meant heavy taxes on the third estate, who were horribly impoverished. By the spring of 1789, none of the estates were happy. The first and second estates were mad they lost power to the monarch. The educated members of the third estate resented the government rules that had prevented business growth. The poorer members of the third estate were hungry and unemployed.
While much of France was starting to crumble right before the start of the Revolution, the country experienced harvest failure and weather-related issues. The French were no stranger to the hunger. In times where the production was low and there was a lack of food, the people simply ate less. In 1788, there was a large hailstorm that destroyed that year's harvest of crops, meaning that the granaries, which were sheds to store grain, were less full than usual for the bitterly cold winter months. Therefore, there were less seeds to plant in the spring. Things like grain, corn, and vegetables were only sold to those who would pay the most, leaving the poor hungry. Along with most foods that were rising in price, bread's price was skyrocketing. This became known as the bread crisis. People in the third estate struggled to buy bread, sometimes even spending 80% of their income, spending less money on other products. Therefore, workers lost money. This famine left Paris in ruins due to weather destruction and leaving most of the country starving. Some people thought this was brought on to them because God was angry with the monarch.
I'm gonna die. I'm only 14 and I'm gonna die. I'm starving.
Where's all the food?
I'm so weak. I'm just gonna fall over and die right now. Dirt. It's red. It's full of clay. I can't grow food. Last crops in all of France.
How do you feel that you're most likely the most hated person in the government aside from King Louis XVI?
I certainly never meant for that to happen. If the French people don't like my style, then they'll just have to learn to get used to it.
Going back to the fact that nearly everyone in France hates you, do you think it's because you're Austrian?
I certainly think that is part of it. The French seem to be holding a grudge against my home country.
The French government had slowly become in debt and close to bankruptcy. Many blamed Louis and Marie for the financial problems. Marie Antoinette was covered in lavish clothing, while all of the citizens were in very worn-down rags. That caused a large amount of hatred toward Marie Antoinette, and they called her many names. The most famous name of her was Madame Deficit.
So why do you want to start a rebellion?
King Louis isn't treating us right, and his Austrian queen of his isn't helping us either.
What is going to be your first act of the rebellion?
We're going to storm Bastille, release all the prisoners, and arm ourselves for battle.
In the summer of 1789, all of the actions made by the Third Estate had made King Louis XVI very anxious. The Third Estate had threatened to dissolve the Estates General after the uproaring events that had to do with the tennis court oath. One of the most famous uprisings was the fall of Bastille. This happened on July 14, 1789, when a group of mobs broke through the royal armory and stormed the Bastille prison. The reason they had stormed was due to the speech delivered 2 days before by Camille Desmoulins. At the time, Bastille only had 7 prisoners, but after being stormed to the mob, it became a symbol of triumph over dictatorship. During your reign as king was?
I think it was definitely replacing the guards of Bastille with Swiss and German guards, because they turned on me faster.
Concerning the French uprising and your impending execution, do you have any regrets?
I regret lowering the wages of the commoners and increasing the prices.
Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of France in 1804. He in turn waged war on most European countries as he expanded the French Empire. He was very successful until he tried to invade Russia. He failed, and when he returned to France, he was exiled. In 1815, he briefly returned to power, but was defeated at the famous Battle of Waterloo. He was then exiled again.
So, now that you've been exiled here to St. Helena, do you have any regrets?
Well, I certainly regret invading Russia. If anything, it led me to my exile here in St. Helena. So how do you feel about the whole revolution? Was it really worth it?
Well, we fought hard for our freedom, and now King Louis XVI's power has diminished, so we are very happy.
By the end of the revolution, the French people adopted a slogan of liberty, equality, and fraternity. This slogan would be used as the main principle that they continued to use the slogan for a while after. The French then created a government which bound the nobility to the limits of the constitution. As people began to show loyalty to the new government, the Catholic Church soon fell in France. Another event that happened after the revolution was that the agricultural economy broke apart from the large nobility. People began to be entrepreneurs since the nobility's limits on the farming economy were reprimanded. Other European countries soon began to notice the success of the new French government.
Do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes. Will you join in a crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me? Beyond the barricade, is there a world you long to see?
Then join in the fight that will give you the right to be free. Do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes.
Will you give all you can give so that a banner may advance? Some will fall and some will live. Will you stand up and take your chance? The blood of the martyrs will water the meadows of France.
Do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes.
From Austria isn't going.
I want to start a rebellion.
King Louis isn't treating us right, and it's
Going back to being highly unpopular among the French.
Sorry.
During reign?
During your reign.
no.
During your
What
reign
was
as
your
king.
biggest?
Do you do you think your biggest mistake during King reign, going back to being highly unpopular among the French?
Oh wow,
do you think
they would come in the middle.
it's a man, it's a citizen.
Wait, how was
What do you think your biggest mistake during King? Think your biggest mistake during
Your reign.
your reign? Why is this so hard for me?
Reign.
Okay, during your reign.
Guys, ready? One,
Guys, go!
1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah.